Welcome, everybody. LanceScurv here, very relaxed at 2 a.m. in the morning, West African time, Ghana, Eastern region. It's beautiful weather out here tonight, and I really should be sleeping, but I decided to talk about this for a little while it was swirling around in my head. And it's not the same old type of thoughts that we say when we speak about these things, about self-hate or not loving who we are. I mean, of course, that's going to be in there. But to me, from what I see in my journeys in life, this thing runs a whole lot deeper than we think. It has permeated our subconscious mind so deep. And a job has really been done on us. A real number has been done on us collectively as melanated people across the globe, to the point where, I'm not going to say we're defeated, but there's a whole lot of work to be done, and it's not going to be completed in our lifetime. We can only start to undo what was done to us and hope that some of us can be salvaged and the generations to come can be free of this sickness, this mental sickness of not feeling that we are good enough as we are. Now, it may manifest as far as us on the surface, as you can see on the banner, of a Black woman who is using skin lightening bleaching cream to change their complexion. In a picture of Beyonce on the wall with a blonde wig and other Caucasian women on the wall there in front of her, or behind her actually, if it's a reflection, with those blonde wigs. And that has become the standard of beauty for us, which it goes deeper because our men, not all of us, but I would say the majority of us, and the majority can be 51%. It's not 30% or 20%, because there are a lot of men who profess to love their Black women as they are, but really they would jump on the chance to experience something with the other, if you know what I mean. I got to watch my words these days. But it's sickening, and it really makes me sad. But what you're going to do? But when I said that it goes a lot deeper than the surface, these obvious things, I'm really seeing it in my life. That even us within our own race, how the different ways that this thing can surface. And if I sound extra relaxed, I am in the bed right now. So that's why I sound a little different. But what can you do? What can we do to get away from this thing? When I came to Africa, I knew a bit of what to expect because I have many contacts here. I can say associates and some friends. Some who have been to my home in Orlando, Florida, when we lived there, and in different parts, South Africa, Kenya, Ghana, who now that I'm here have come to visit me, and we keep in contact. And those are the few that understand what's going on with us as a people. But when I came here, I felt I knew what I could expect, but there were factions of things that really blew me away. For some reason, I thought that many who were here already would be more conscious of the colonization of our minds. And so many are just, and I'm not saying the word ignorant as a put down, but they are ignorant to it. And so when I began to venture around, because growing up in New York City, I used to go all over the city, all times of day and night, from a young teenager and explore. So I've explored here around the clock, different places, different times. I have no problem being out somewhere 3 and 4 o'clock in the morning. That's just how I am. I get around more than a person with a car. That's just me. Sister Queen Diane, how are you? I'm glad to see you and the energy that you bring. But when I got around, I could not believe, number one, I'm just going to throw a few things out there. I could not believe how much the sale of skin lightening creams were. Like everywhere you turn in the street, people sell on the streets, on the curb, and you see like 50 different brands. There's a certain spot that I want to go down to, and I'm going to take a picture and I'll drop it here on YouTube and everywhere else. And there were so many different types of skin bleaching cream. And I went over there and just looked at it. And I lost the picture, but I asked the young lady who was selling, I said, "Can I take a picture of your products?" She said, "Sure." Well, I'm going to go back there because I lost that picture. And I swear it was at least 50 different types. And there were two women there, two young women there. And they were discussing which ones were more effective to getting their skin lighter. And you can see that they've been doing this for a while because that stuff damages your skin. And you see older women who have been doing this, women 45, 50, 60 and up, and their skin looks like darkened leather. Like that stuff does something to you. And I hear that it also does something to your kidneys and your liver. So why would you want to do this to yourself, especially when, as you are beautiful without makeup, the complexion, the hair, the skin, the velvety skin, the complexion, the shape, the beauty. Why? It's because they've been taught not to see the beauty they have. And this is preaching to the choir, but it really, really hit me. And the things that many of our sisters here would say, that, "Oh, I want a better life. One day I will find me a white man to take me away from here and give me a better life." Let me tell you something. Hearing that was like getting stabbed in my gut. And I'm really looking at the people that said this around me. One or two of them I knew at different occasions that actually said that. And it was like getting stabbed. And then when I see many of the men here that in public, say for example, I go to the shopping mall or I'm where they have markets, and you see a white woman coming down the street, and you ought to see how the attitudes change of these men as they start grinning and skinning like the most beautiful queen has entered their space. And they have this subservient demeanor toward this white woman who may not even be paying them any mind. And I've seen some who were obviously either dating or had some business to do with this particular white woman. Different scenarios I'm sharing. And the way that they're acting, giving them complete attention, and the grinning and the skinning. I don't see them do that for their own sisters. Why? Because in their mind, their sisters are not as precious as that white woman. Can I get a percentage on it? I don't know, but I would say it's the majority, which is over 51%. I don't know. I can't tell you a number. I just see what I see reflected in their faces. And the funny part is that, they don't even overall, from what I see from a distance, I'm not saying I'm up on these people, but let me give you an example. There's somebody that I know very, very well. And she lived near the apartment that we had before we moved into the house up in the mountains. So I had walked down to the corner store, or actually it was a gasoline station, but they had a store in there. And I picked up a few things because it was getting late. And so I saw her, she got off of the van. So she had 3 bags that were kind of heavy. So I said, listen, give me 2 of those bags, right? And so I had grabbed them when she put them down so fast. And she was paying the guy who drove the van. So she turned around and she says, oh, no, 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 no. Please, please, let me carry them. I said, wait a second, these bags are heavy. They were a little heavy for me, and I'm still pretty strong. She said, no, 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 you cannot do this. I said, what are you telling me? I can't carry the bags for you? Do you mean maybe your husband might hear that I'm carrying? I know your husband, and he knows how I respect you and him. She says, no, 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 it's not that. But we don't do that here. It's for the man to walk in front and the woman to carry the bags. I said, well, on my watch, I can't go for that. She says, you're going to make yourself look foolish. I said, I'm going to have to be foolish because where I'm coming from, that's proper manners. Imagine that. Really and truly, imagine that. I carry them anyway. And I see men walking in front of their women while the women carry the bags. They have the children on their backs, wrapped around. They might have something on their head, and the man is walking with nothing in their hands. But if it was a white woman walking down the street with bags, oh, trust and believe, they would tap dance their way on over there to help that woman. Not in every case, but from what I've seen, I don't like it. And what I don't like is how many of these white women will come here. See, they love coming to the motherland because they're going to get treated so well. I saw some in the mall the other day, a group of them, maybe about 15 of them. And they're walking around and they're scanning the eyes of the different people who are there. And they loved it because the smiles and the look of appreciation, the black men looking at them and just ogling them, not even in a lustful way, but just like, oh my God, a beautiful ivory white woman. And they stopped and, moved out the way. And as they passed by, they're looking at them and they're looking at each other like, oh my God, this is an experience. This is a once in a lifetime thing. That's the way they acted. And then they come up on me and they're looking at me and I'm looking at them right back like, well, am I supposed to, give you this Cheshire cat smile? Am I supposed to bow down and kiss your feet? And I'm going to be honest. I love when they come by me to try to figure me out. And I get on the phone and call somebody and talk enough where they can hear my American accent, meaning that they're going to know I'm not from there and I don't play that. So they start blinking their eyes and looking away, and they know they're not going to get that kind of attention from me. See, I don't hate anybody, but don't assume that I'm going to fall down by your feet symbolically and treat you a certain way that I should be treating my sisters. And even when I'm on the phone call, I don't care who I'm on the phone with. Mrs. Scurv knows me well. I'll say it out loud. I said, they got some beautiful black women around here. I've never seen nothing like it before. I'm just so glad to live here and have left America. Then they looking at me pissed. Because see, they love it over here because they get what they want. They get bargain basement adoration. And they get this queen's treatment. So they love it. And the funny thing, I said it out loud. I said, enough of y'all have told me to go back to Africa. And now that I'm here, what in the heck are you doing here? I've said it out loud. I said it out loud last week. They trying to look at me like I'm crazy. But I wanted them to hear that because that's the way I am. I don't like it. I don't like it. See, and this is why they don't want us to get a stronghold here, no matter what country you go to in the motherland. They want to get here first to the minds of the people here before brothers like me or sisters like me who may have a certain mindset begin talking to them and getting their minds right. They don't want anybody like me here. So this is why they made a statement. I think it was, I can't give the guy's name, I don't remember it, but he's in charge. He's the highest in charge of giving visas to come out here to any of the countries in Africa, especially Ghana. And he basically said that they are not going to issue visas to everyone. And who really is coming over here except us and a few sprinkling of Caucasians. So basically, they're going to make it harder. They're going to have to give you some type of background check. The way I read it, basically, to make sure you're not a militant Negro who's going to come over here and get these Negroes over here, these Black Africans over here riled up. You understand? That's part of the plan. They got to keep us separated. Memorandum 46, they got to keep us separated. Because if they had people of a certain mentality here that won't allow themselves to get taken advantage of, who want to bleach their skin, who want to be with the white woman, who want to honor everything Caucasian and give it up for free, like many of the leaders here, who allow their countries to get taken advantage of for the resources. Oh, sure, white man, just come on in here and take everything you want while the people suffer. No, I don't like it. And I'm not going to shut up while I'm out here. If you know, the FBI is out here heavy. And yes, there are people who do scamming, and I don't condone that. The FBI will be out here, and they'll make sure to catch the people who are doing it, and they've already been doing it a few times. It's well publicized. But they're over here working with the police departments, and they're doing a lot of surveillance. And on one side, God is in bed with America. They're making progressive moves, but America's making sure to get a stronghold over here, and it's not for nice reasons. See, it's a lot of positioning being done over here, and there's no resistance from the people because they don't know what's going on. They're just so glad to have white Americans and the white folks from all over the world. You are so safe and so welcome when you come here because they honor your flesh so much. But when it comes to the self-hate, you know, I would have got a little slack if I said something about self-hate in the title. So I questioned it the opposite way. I said, is this self-love? See, you got to be shrewd when you make these titles. But it's to the point now where the sellouts amongst us, and I won't name names right now, but there are people who you will not see on this platform, if you've noticed earlier today, because there are many of us who, they work along with the government, they work along with these agencies, and they only use the Black empowerment talk as a costume, but they're really about getting money. They're really about getting positioning next to the so-called Caucasian powers that be in the government. And they're information gatherers on those of us who live a certain way and think a certain way. Me, I'm just a regular guy who moved from America and came out here, but I talk a lot. I run my mouth a lot. I have a record for doing that and speaking to all people who think like me and questioning those or exposing those who don't. And that reputation doesn't die. So now that I moved out here, I'm a mystery again. And there are entities that would love to come and visit with me. Huh? God knows for what. I will say that I've been invited to something in a different country. And when I found out what it was all about, I felt my life was in jeopardy because I found out more of what this individual has done over the last 25, 30 years, if not 40, as a turncoat with different people. And it shocked me. And I have to cut you off if you're an agent, little old me. I mean, what could I do? But once you step on toes, the US government doesn't forget it. And when you think similar, I'm not saying I'm the epitome of anything, but it's a fear that I'd get along with other people away from the United States. But you're not getting me out of here to some place I don't know, acting friendly, and you trying to snuff me out of here. No, I see right through it. You're not coming up in here and trying to bug my house when I'm not looking. I mean, it's easy to GPS me. Anybody want any agency wants to see where I live, just go through my phone. That's everybody. But the level of false people who act as though they're for our people, even though many of us are wayward, not thinking right, off the chain in our thinking, and everybody can't be saved. I mean, I'm not somebody's savior. I'm just saying, like, to wake up a little bit, to get on your path of self-awareness and to understand who you are in this world, how powerful you are, how you've been convinced that you're nothing. This makes it easier for other people to oppress you. Even if you have degrees and a mansion and lots of cars, there's so many people out here you just don't know who are sellouts. I can't mess with you if you are. But I find out you're dealing directly with the FBI for what? You want to come around me and take me somewhere? No. I already know how that's going to end up. No way. Because they don't want anybody talking with some sense. I live it. I have these conversations in person all the time. And then you have people within our race who may come from somewhere else. This is another thing that I'm finding out here in Ghana. See, our stuff, our dirty laundry is so messed up. Here I am in America, embracing all of us, no matter where we come from. I can't be FBA because the whole planet is Africa, long before others got here. Been here for millions of years. But the starting point is the motherland, and we spread out. So just because you find yourself where you are now doesn't mean you're any different. And so many of us are trying to find reasons why we're different. We may evolve a little bit where culturally we have different things cultural. You get a black man from Mexico, a black woman from Mexico that been there. They may eat foods that are slightly different or call it something different, than somebody who was in New Zealand or any Aboriginal. But the root is all the same. And there's a concerted effort to keep us away from finding the common denominator and thinking as one, because we'd be too mighty. And we fall for it. So, it's crazy. I'm discovering different types of dysfunctional resentment within the race. I'm finding out, as I found out recently. See, in New York City, it's a melting pot. I grew up there. There's no culture I don't know that is not there. Everything's there. Everybody got a neighborhood there. Everybody understands. And on a Black level, there's so many different ways and variables of Blackness. Whether you're Hebrew Israelites or 5%ers or, Rastafarians or, whatever is there. I grew up seeing it. I grew up seeing the original Nation of Islam with Muhammad Speaks newspapers. My root is in all of that. And I have the parents that I had that exposed me purposely to so many things without even having to travel the world. I appreciate that. So my father being from Jamaica was no problem for me. And I got along with everybody, even Jamaicans that were there. They knew I was born in America, and I'm technically a full-blooded American as far as what's on paper. But I never denounced my father. That's part of my lineage in coming back to Ghana. But coming here to Ghana, I'm going to be honest with you. There are a lot of Jamaicans that see you a certain way, but they kept it to themselves. And when they come out here to Ghana, all of a sudden, you're American. You're American. Like, wait a second, I thought I was a Black brother like you. The sickness runs deep because there were many who were born and raised in Jamaica, some who were born poor and always wanted to come to America. And that was the epitome for them, just like with many Ghanaians who want to go to America because they think it's the land of milk and honey and find out different. So in America, you had no problem with me. Now I come out to Ghana as a Black man who was born in America. And I'm facing a lot of resentment and envy because, you see, many of them, and not all of them, but many of them who have come here want an elevated status. And they don't get it. Because the Ghanaians say, oh, you're Jamaican. But me now, coming from America, and they identify me as an American, they give me, through their brainwashing, a higher status that many from other places want deep down. So we were cool in America, but now, you're an American. I'm a Black man just like anybody else, but now you want to make me feel isolated because you want the status I have in this country through the colonized mind, and I don't see myself as better than anybody else. We are sick. We are sick. We are sick. And these same people will talk about the unification of Black people and higher Black consciousness, and they're still on some petty stuff. I'm telling you stuff that I know. And they will go around and smear your name so your connection won't take root out of this deep-seated envy for status. I can't help it if people here see me and say, oh, we know he's from America. Well, I mean, many of the Jamaicans that I know have been in America, but it's sick when I realize what it is. It's like being nice to people and realize they despise you for some reason. Say, whoa, this is the colonized mind in effect. And maybe you never heard about that slice of it, but I experienced it here and continue to experience it here. Isn't that something? Jealous from a brainwashed mind that you claim not to have. You mad that you're not looked at as whatever. I'm not even trying to flex that way. I don't take any gratuities based on that. My father and mother didn't raise me that way. What kind of inferior thinking mind is that? Because you feel less than, but you want to throw it off on me because of the circumstances I was born under? I could have been born anywhere. Is it my accent? Is it my complexion? You are American. Well, hell, you're not telling me anything that I don't know. It goes deep. It goes deep. And of course, there are many who are here who will never embrace you because they will not see you as part of them. For many, you're only an ATM. They'll smile with you as long as they can make money out of you. Because in their mind, you come from a place where money just falls off trees. And granted, now let me just say, I love it here. A lot of wonderful people here. But you have to discern what's coming at you. But I will tell you, the brainwashing runs deep. And even many who come from the same place that I do, they have it too. That's why I can't really mess with them. Because they want to make it a competition. How are you making it? How are you getting your money? They're not going to ask that. Why don't you come along to our little group thing so we can get in your business? Nah. Overall, though, when you know how to navigate, it's a good thing. But you have to understand what kind of mind the people have that you're dealing with. And lots of times it's layered. You won't know just off of what they give you and what they present to you because that's the mask. And so many people want to project this thing to the world because they've romanticized, but they haven't cleaned up what's on the inside. And after a time, it comes out. You must be at peace with yourself. And the only way to be at peace with yourself is that you have cleansed yourself. You don't go to a party funky. You just don't get up and don't wash and go to the gathering, a social gathering later on, funky. You got to clean yourself up. And why is it that so many people, whether they're from America, the Caribbean, Canada, UK, they don't deal with themselves on the inside before making the leap? So they make the leap and romanticize it's going to change them and cleanse them. You change your name. Change how you dress. All of a sudden, you're a 24-hour dashiki wearer. Wearing the ankh and the nose ring and all kind of dots on your face and makeup and all kind of, now you're a mystic. But you're the same old funky, venomous person that you were in the south side of wherever city that you came from. I see a lot of that. and they try to fool you with it. Trust and believe. It's epidemic out here. But again, I love it because I know how to navigate. I've been living life for a long time. I had parents that taught me about spiritual warfare and the gift of discernment, and I've always had that. Now, coming up as a young man, in teens and 20s, that spirit of lust would kind of blur my gift of discernment. So I had to learn how to deal with that. But I did. It's a powerful thing. But overall, you can leave American society by cleaning yourself up and cleaning up your mind and being aware of what's been done to us. Because if you think just a physical trip to another land is going to change you, or a dramatic trip to one of the slave dungeons, see, they call it castles, but it's dungeons. They can shed some tears and act dramatic like it touched them and go right back to the same old ways. And that's something that's very sad. The transformation must start long before you touch your feet in the ground over here. And you have some people who are more on point, who never came to Africa, but they got the Africa inside of them by what they've done to themselves to elevate their awareness. Because you have so many different types of energies out here in the world overall. And just because you see a black face coming your way, it doesn't mean that they are brothers or sisters of the same mindset. Sometimes they pick up what you're about and they will emulate you to get next to you, to bring you down. Because what you are exposes what they're not. So for them to carry on with the facade, you must be reduced, smeared, broken down. And with me, that's not going to happen. It will never happen. And they say never with certain things. Certain ways I don't get down like that. But it's really shocking here how you have the Lebanese, Chinese, the Turkish, the UK folk, and folk from all over, Singapore, creating huge businesses with their unity. But just like a videotape that I had circulated around that I got my hands on, and I'll try to put it in the comment section here, is very powerful and truthful. And I know a lot of people are not going to want to hear it. How many of us come and romanticize and not look at things realistically. You have to be a realist and know how to navigate. But if you come in here romanticizing, you're going to get straight swindled. Seriously. Because many have a different mindset. It really is a very lonely journey, but it doesn't mean that you're cut off from good people. You just have to discern, still shine your light, but don't take everything on face value. Because a lot of us even come here from America to swindle those over here also. There's a lot of that going on. It may not hit YouTube as much. It may not hit the newspapers as much, but there's a lot. And like I said before, there's a former pastor who came over here and wearing the dashiki and talking the talk and connected up with a company out here. And here I am riding up in the van with all of them and laughing and talking and promoting and showcasing, especially on my old channel where it had more reach. And this joker was straight getting money from people. We're not talking about $500 deposit for anything. We're talking 16,000, 39,000, 52,000. And people started calling me up. They weren't mad at me. And I told this story a little while ago. But they're like, this is what he did. Now we don't hear from him anymore. There's a person that I know now, she might leave a comment. I'm not going to say her name, but she has gotten land in another country and doing very well. But this guy got her for money. They're out here. Don't believe everything you see. If I was to get into stuff like that, I would be so transparent because I do not want any bad thing attached to my name that way. I mean, I don't have the time or the resources to do anything like that right now. There's a lot on my plate. But opportunistic people and shapeshifters, they come in every form while having a colonized mind. That's even worse. Because some of us will do us in more and faster than we will do to anyone else of another race. We'll make sure to do the right thing by them, but we'll screw our own selves over, and that's part of this thing. You may see the woman on the banner with the bleaching cream, wiping her face, trying to make it white, but it goes deeper. Understand, it goes much deeper than that. Because the symbolism of wanting to wipe off the black, well, when you rip off another brother or sister, it's the same thing you're doing, but even worse, because you don't care that you're taking them off of their hard-earned money. You don't care. I can't believe how sincere some of these people talk and how they act. And again, it's so many names I can say, but I'm not getting out here like this. Then they'll try to say whatever. And I'm not scared, but I'm just saying, you read between the lines and discern the spirit. How some people are just like psychopathic, narcissistic, you know? Like I heard earlier today, not all narcissists are psychopaths, but all psychopaths are narcissists. And you have so many shapeshifters who can hate you because you're black, and they're black also. I can say melanated, I can say African. So people in the comment sections, don't get into the nitpicking stuff. You know what I'm talking about. Even to the point where you can hold it down and remain stable, there will be those who despise you for that because they anticipated your fall. They had hoped for your fall. They've done things to cause your fall, and it didn't work. Tell me about it. We've experienced that firsthand when we got here. Those who you think are in your corner are really trying to take you into deep water and drown you and talk about it too. Now they have to feel as though they're looking straight stupid because you've been victorious. And just like one show many months ago, Sister Diane, you said, Lance, I know you've been through a lot, but you don't really say a lot of the things that you've been through. But yes, on an emotional level, on a backstabbing level, tell me about it. That's why I talk about those things a lot and how they work to protect other people who don't understand those shapeshifters that are around them. I've got people around me that I've known for decades that are secretly hoping that I take a major fall in some reason. For some reason, that's what it's all from young. They smile around you because they want to be near you and they've done little things to reveal themselves. You see what I mean? And it's like, I'm not going to give them that satisfaction. So all I can say is really and truly protect yourself. Protect yourself at all times. It's like a boxing match. It's not about paranoia. But now we have so many shapeshifters that are morphing, and social media has made it worse because before people would compare to what's around them. But now with the phone and social media, you can see all kinds of people and compare yourself and feel bad that you don't have as much money as they do, or you don't have the relationship that they do, or they might be lighter than you, or they might, God, it's just sick and crazy. And we eat it up. Okay, look at this. For example, you got the boxer. I don't know if anybody really keeps up with that, but I do keep up with boxing and bodybuilding every day. So you have boxing women's champ, Clarissa Shields, and she's making millions of dollars. And she has 2 Olympic gold medals. She's undefeated. And she's just about as ghetto as you want to be. I'm not putting it down, but she's on social media every single day, basically hating on her man's wife, the rapper Papoose. And Remy Ma is his wife. But he's with Clarissa Shields publicly. And she's very insecure about Remy Ma, the rapper. So she's throwing darts at her every day, directly and indirectly on the internet, making these shorts, making these videos. Why don't you just chill out and fight? It was, I wouldn't say amusing for me, but now it's really getting out of hand. This thing been going on for months, and she's trying to prove herself to be better than Remy Ma, wearing the outfits that she wears, and trying to prove to the world that Remy Ma's husband, who is with her, she's with a married man publicly, how much in love they are. And you can see that he's not really into her that way. And she goes harder and harder and harder every single day. And this is why she does not have any endorsements, because nobody is going to have her endorse their products, and she's acting so niggardly. Every day, stay off of social media. It's crazy how some of us, no matter how much of a level of wealth or fame or notoriety or accomplishment, we can't get that thing out of us. We got something to prove. We got to hate on our own. And it's embarrassing. And it's dominating. Not everybody's getting dominated, but since I follow boxing, it's going to pop up on my feed all the time. Do we realize how we look? Do we realize where our blip is on the radar screen? So for all your money that you have, Clarissa, you're not happy. First of all, that man you have, he's not leaving his wife, and you know that. And you got some kind of inferiority complex to go on like you do every single day. What is wrong with us? And she's got money. She's got fame. She's already one of the greatest of all times. She even went after Laila Ali, Muhammad Ali's daughter. Big age gap. She'd been retired for a long time, but she was trying to mess with her legacy and call her out to fight and all of this stuff. And Laila Ali has a lot of class, and she would always handle her. And so now when she began to pick on Papoose' wife, who he's with her 24/7 now, but he never got to divorce. And I hate to talk about these things because it sounds petty, but there's a lesson in that. She has no endorsements. Whatever money she's making straight from boxing, but Her character, she could have been so much higher if she carried herself a certain way, but evidently she wasn't raised that way. She doesn't have any class whatsoever. And it shows. We can act cool when everything is all right, but when the storms hit, we get stirred up and we see what's really inside. It's like a video I was watching. It was a white man. He said, listen, I'm going to squeeze this orange as hard as I can. What do you think is going to come out? It won't be coconut water. It won't be pineapple juice. It won't be lemon juice. It'll be orange juice. But with people, when they get squeezed by life's trials and tribulations, what do you think is going to come out? What they're holding inside? If it's the envy and the jealousy and the venom, circumstances will make it be known. If you have a kind heart, a stable heart, a loving heart, one that doesn't have venom, even when things go heads up and go wrong for you, some people just can never produce that type of venom. So when everything is okay, we don't know what's in people until we see them go through something. And then we see what's really inside of them. And that's something to think about. We can go on and project righteousness onto a person because we never saw what's in them. So, like I said in the prior video I did, circumstances will bring it out. You never really know a person until they reveal what's on the inside, which could have been well hidden for a very long time. You know, life is funny that way, and it's always a lesson to be learned. And I'm always open to learning lessons and observing situations and seeing things. And oh boy, the more you see is the more you'll even see more. Trust me. But you have to have that level of understanding. You know, if you don't, you'll see a situation and you won't learn from it. And I try to learn from as much as I can around me. And I've learned from my own misjudgments and my own experiences. And you can never learn too much. Well, anyway, I'm going to wrap this down because this bed is feeling really good. And it's wrapping itself around me. And I don't want to sit here on the phone and all of a sudden you hear snoring because I'm so relaxed. But I just had to talk a little bit. And I'm glad for those who are listening. I appreciate you being here. And always remember to go to LanceScurvX.com and you sign up there with your email address so we can have a direct relationship away from these social media platforms who block content from coming out or taking down entire channels like what happened to me. I wish I knew about this before, you know, but that's a different story. That doesn't stop us. We keep on going on because we have that in us. But anyway, LanceScurv out. On to the next one. We'll be back tomorrow with more content. Brother Neil Frazier, Metamorphosis, and other stuff that I put up. And I'm looking forward to it. Much love to you all. Peace.